welcome. My name is Maria Nieves. I'm President and CEO of the Hudson County Chamber of Commerce. And as I mentioned, we are completely committed here at the Hudson County Chamber to embracing the diversity that makes Hudson County one of the most diverse counties in the country. This event would not be possible without our sponsors, as you saw. And I want to acknowledge our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor is Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey. They have been engaged with our chamber over the last couple of years. They are a tremendous sponsor. We really wouldn't be able to run a number of programs without their support and commitment. So I want to thank them first and foremost for presenting today's session with us. As well, we have grant sponsors, Wells Fargo and Suez. Premier sponsors, Provident Bank, the Jersey City Medical Center, RWJ Barnabas Health, TD Bank, and event sponsor, Investors Bank, and as well, LaFay, which came on as a sponsor recently, and this is their second year sponsoring HOLA New Jersey. So thank you to all our sponsors. And then I also want to thank two very important people. This event does not happen with me alone, or me at all, really. This event is driven by a very, very important woman at our chamber, Melissa Rosario. Melissa, are you on screen at all? If you can just let everybody know. If you don't know Melissa, she is our, sorry, I'm losing my voice. She is our Director of Membership and Finance at the Chamber. She's been with the Chamber about 5 years and really has spearheaded this work and started to get us engaged with the Hispanic community in a much more meaningful and deep way, and has also started our tipping our toe into the waters of Spanish language programming, which I hope we can continue to do more of. Melissa is stepped off the screen a little bit. She, when she comes back, we'll have her just wave at everybody. But if you don't know Melissa, you need to. I'll put her contact information in the chat box. Melissa has also been working with a consultant, Heidi Castrion with Biz Republic, who helped us with the promotion of this event. And Heidi has also helped us tremendously with building relationships in this Hispanic community. So we want to thank both of them for their tremendous effort and yeoman's work. Melissa just helps me to look good. Right, Melissa? Wave to everybody. So when you have somebody like that on your staff, they're really super important, and I need to thank her profusely. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so we are going to get started with our program. Again, we have a full day of events, and because the link is here for you at any time, you can, put us on mute, you step away, come back as you wish, no worries at all. And basically, we're going to get started with our first speaker, and she is the Chief Diversity Officer for New Jersey State. She runs the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, which I understand was really founded and created and established under Governor Murphy. We're really, really pleased to have her. So a quick bio, if you don't mind, Hester. In May 2018, Governor Phil Murphy appointed Hester Agudosi, am I saying that correctly? Yes, thank you, to serve as the state's first Chief Diversity Officer. So as I mentioned, she oversees the State Office of Diversity and Inclusion, which has been established to ensure diversity in appointments, recruitment, and the execution of diversity and inclusion strategies targeted toward greater utilization of minority, women, veteran, and LGBT-owned businesses. And I want to stop here for a second, because as we're talking today about diversity, that is the same sort of broad, expansive definition that we're using here at the Chamber as well. So I want to point that out. Before becoming the Chief Diversity Officer, Hester spent 19 years serving the state of New Jersey in various senior management roles. So she knows the state of New Jersey very well. I'm sure she has connections across the state. Prior to her appointment, she was the Director of the Office of Equal Opportunity and Public Contract Assistance at the Department of Environmental Protection. where she oversaw the department's affirmative action program and monitored employment policies, practices, and department programs to ensure fairness and consistency with the department's equal opportunity policy. She was also the deputy director in the Office of Equal Employment Opportunity at the Department of Law and Public Safety. And before that, she served as supervising deputy attorney general and chief of the Prosecutors Supervision and Coordination Bureau and the chief of the Office of Bias Crime. She attended the University of Notre Dame. She holds a JD from the Morris A. Dean School of Law at Hofstra University. She's a member of the New Jersey State Bar Association, where she has chaired the minorities in the profession section and served as a member of the diversity commitment. So we are so incredibly pleased to have you here today, Hester, with your extensive background and expertise that you also now bring to this very important role at the state. I'm going to turn it over to you as our keynote speaker. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Maria, and I would like to thank the Chamber for extending this invitation for me to participate in today's very important event. I'm happy to be here, and I'm also thrilled to be able to share today with a dear friend and colleague, Rafael Mata, who I know is going to bring some great insight and information to the participants here. So with that being said, today's panel, today's presentation, everything you want to know about contracts, procurement, and supplier diversity is very important. And it couldn't be more timely in light of all that is going on right now in this country and internationally with this global pandemic and the impact that it has on all of us, and particularly our business community. A mantra that I say oftentimes is that on a good day, it's often very challenging for our diverse businesses to be able to navigate through all of the obstacles and challenges that they face. And when you place a pandemic environment on top of that, it is not lost on us in government that these are urgent and pressing times. And so being able to speak to you about how you can avail yourself and how you can onboard yourself to procurement opportunities in public contracting, as well as in private contracting, I believe is essential and timely. And I'm very thrilled that the Chamber is taking the time to put on this very important session. So having said that, I think it's important to set the table. And I like to set the table with just some facts that I think are relevant. So as of the last census, we know that in New Jersey, 45% of our 6.9 million residents are people of color. So when we talk about diversity, that diversity is resident in this state and makes the state of New Jersey, depending on the source, anywhere between the third or the fourth most diverse state in the country. And we also know that minority and women-owned businesses comprise almost half of the businesses operating in the state. So when you just think about that, right, that we've got almost half of our population is diverse, and similarly, business community is diverse, that is significant. What does research tell us? As diversity professionals, and many of you may know as well, we know that diversity is a driver of productivity. We know it's a driver of innovation, competition, and growth. And so for New Jersey to be blessed to have the diversity that it has the opportunity to really leverage and maximize those key indicators that I just described: productivity, innovation, competition, and growth, really to be the economic engine that lifts up this state, and more importantly, the economic engine that lifts up our communities and our residents. So I can tell you that when I think of minority and women-owned businesses, when I think of entrepreneurs, I think of not just people, and it's funny, I was on a panel earlier this week, and the topic was environmental justice. And one of the panelists was an environmental advocate who lived in the city of Newark, and because of the personal impact that she had with respect to environmental contaminants, she has elected to spend her time and her commitment to advocating against environmental ills that affect communities. And one of the things that she said is that oftentimes the people that she stands really on the shoulders of, the people that she represents, they don't have a seat at the table. And so her voice on that panel was really representing the thousands of residents, the thousands of people who live in communities that don't have that opportunity to be at the table. And so I say that because when I think of entrepreneurs, I think of them in the same way. They're not just an individual. An entrepreneur represents family, a family, their extended family, the families of the workers that they employ. And we know that, again, the data tells us that minority and women-owned businesses are the biggest employers of people of color. So when we talk about just the multiplier effect of these businesses, it is significant. So with that being said, what does procurement mean to you as a business owner, and why is that important? Well, when we're talking about procurement, particularly in public contracting, one of the things that you should understand is that these are your tax dollars that are used by public entities to provide goods, a contract for goods and services. So these are in essence your dollars. And the truth of the matter is that just within the Division of Purchase and Property, which resides in the Department of Treasury, they procure almost over $2 billion in spend on goods and services on behalf of state departments and agencies. So public entities procure for all types of goods and services, and they are very much a source that you should target and as a business owner to see how you can align yourself to provide goods and services. And that's just, I just mentioned one department within Treasury. We have over 72 departments and agencies within state government that procure goods and services. And that's just on a state level. We also have federal departments and agencies that are represented here in the state of New Jersey that similarly procure goods and services. Again, another opportunity and another stream for you to be able to import to provide goods and services. Similarly, we have counties such as this that provide and contract for goods and services. The Hudson County Improvement Authority, by way of example, will be constructing one of the largest construction projects in the state as it relates to its courthouse that is currently underway. So understanding that that's just, again, the improvement authority in Hudson County that is presenting multi-million-dollar contract opportunity, and understanding that you have the ability to, as a business, provide goods and services is significant. And then it goes beyond just the counties. Every municipal government contracts for goods and services. And then on top of that, we have many of our corporate partners that have offices here in the state of New Jersey, and they also contract for goods and services. So if I'm a business owner, I have just named to you multiple streams of business opportunities on a federal, state, county, municipal, and private sector level. And so that's why today's session is so important for you to understand and equip yourself as it relates to procurement readiness. Now, having said that, I will say this. There's another moniker that I've adopted recently, I read somewhere, and it says that systems are designed to produce the outcomes that they do. And the truth of the matter is that the systems in procurement are designed or have been designed to produce these outcomes. And I say that because when we look at, as I indicated, we have almost 60% of our businesses are minority and women-owned businesses in the state of New Jersey. But when we compare that with their spend, their representation in public contracting supply chains, it is almost less than 10%. In some instances, depending on the particular commodity or good, it could be as low as 5%. So, and why is that? That's because it's not easy to be able to navigate your way through the procurement process. And so educating yourself and informing yourself of what the process is, how you can then get yourself certified, understand the language of procurement, understand the different procurement vehicles that are resident, i.e. a request for proposal or request for solicitation, understanding what delegated purchasing authority is. And these are all just names that I'm dropping because I'm sure Raphael is going to get into some more detail about that later on. But I say that to say that there's an actual language of procurement that you need to understand in order to determine as a business owner, what is the best way for me to onboard? What should I be targeting? Should I be targeting providing goods and services on a state contract, on a large blanket contract, or should I be focusing on my municipality or municipalities that may have smaller contracts that they're sourcing out that I would be able to provide? So understanding the language of procurement, also understanding what these particular entities provide or contract for is important for you as a business owner. Now, having said that, again, we understand that that takes time, and time is money for you. And so that's why your association, for those of you who are here on this call, I give you and I applaud you and commend you because you understand that you can't do this on your own. And it is important to be able to partner with organizations such as this chamber to provide you with access to the information, as well as access to individuals who can really add that value add for you. And so, fortunately for you today, they're going to really go and give you not only a deep dive into procurement readiness, but also leverage that with matchmaking opportunities. And I can't impress upon you enough how important it is for you to really understand the significance of being procurement ready. Understanding that it's not just a matter of whether or not you have a business, but it's how you position your business. Do you have a capability statement, which is in essence your resume for your business that you can present to this procurement representative? What is going to distinguish you from someone else? And so when the time comes that they need to source something, they recall you and they send out that solicitation to you. These are very important things that one really needs to understand in order to be able to engage with public contracting here in the state of New Jersey. Beyond education, what I want to say to you is that I mentioned that the process can be challenging. It can be daunting. And we recognize that. This administration recognizes that. My office recognizes that. And we're committed to leveling the playing field. So how do we do that? Well, one of the ways that we do that is, really looking at our systems and our processes and seeing what changes we can make to them to simplify them to enable you to be able to onboard on. Similarly, we're in the process of conducting a disparity study, and that study will allow us to be able to set some real goals as to the availability of businesses to provide goods and services in all the different fields in which public contracting procures. So it is important, and I believe there will be some discussion about not only registering your business to do business with the state, or whatever the particular entity, be it the federal government or within your county, it's important to do so. But also if you're a minority or woman-owned business, there's also value for you to have a certification, because these goals that will be set will be based upon, minority, women, veteran-owned, as well as small business-owned goals. And so when we're looking, or when the procurement official is looking to source these contracts, they're going to be looking for the list of certified minority and women-owned businesses to be able to meet those goals. So although you may be a minority-owned business or women-owned business, if you're not certified and you're not on that list, then as far as they're concerned, you're not there, and they're not able to draw from you or consider you for purposes of a particular opportunity. So certification has value, and it is important. Similarly, one of the things that we have done in this administration is to ensure that our departments and agencies are doing much greater outreach to provide information to business owners about contract opportunities. I believe my information will be made available through the chamber. I can tell you that the Office of Diversity and Inclusion routinely sends out notifications of procurement opportunities, resource opportunities for businesses, not just statewide, but also for state agencies, but also for opportunities that are available with our private sector partners as well as our federal sector partners. So one of the things that you want to do is you absolutely want to get connected to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, because it is designed to be one-stop shopping for you as it relates to providing you with information of procurement opportunities. And lastly, one of the things that we lifted up last year, and we will be doing again this year on December 9th, is a supplier diversity forum statewide, where we brought in all of our state departments and agencies, authorities, colleges, universities, and commissions under one roof. Last year, it was at NJIT, so that all of our diverse business owners could have direct access to the decision makers in those agencies as it related to procurement. Additionally, we had many of our private sector partners who were there, and we also had information about business resources that are available. And that's something that I want to underscore. In addition to procurement opportunities, you should also understand that the state has, as well as the federal government, a number of different departments and agencies that are designed to assist you as a business owner to resources, access to capital, technical training, and support. Some of those being the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the Business Action Center that is a part of the Department of State. We have on the federal level, we have the PTAC, which provides technical and assistance and support for businesses, particularly in pursuing federal contracts. So I know I said a lot, but at the end of the day, this is really all about ensuring that we are, as a state, harnessing and leveraging the diversity that we have, and particularly in our business community. It is not lost on me that we have the opportunity to really establish a national model of excellence, where when we are able to capitalize on the diversity that we have, we surely can represent the best in innovation. We can represent the best in growth. We can represent the best in productivity. And most importantly, we can show the direct correlation between that and the economic vitality of our communities and our citizens. So with that being said, I know I said a lot, but we wanted to leave some time for questions and answers. So I will turn that over if there are any questions and answers. And I will again just want to promote the fact that on December 9th, there will be a virtual marketplace exchange. And that will again be an opportunity for you as business owners to connect with all of our state departments and agencies virtually, again, as well as many of our private sector partners, to avail yourself of real contract opportunities that will be sourced out within the next year here within the state of New Jersey. I'm not sure what that means.
Unmute myself. Okay. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, sorry. I don't know if I was on mute, perhaps. I just want to thank you, Hester, so much for joining us this morning and for really leading the efforts through your office. I want to commend you and Governor Murphy for really spotlighting the fact that the state of New Jersey, needs to have such an office, is committed to diversity and equity and inclusion. And I do hope that we can become a state of excellence and a model for other states in the country. I learned something new in that New Jersey is one of the 4 or 5 top most diverse states in the country. I actually don't think I knew that. And I also did write some notes down, including a resume for your business. So I don't think I have one of those for the chamber. So thank you very much for that. And also just, again, for all you're doing and for your event coming up on December 9th, which we will help to promote for sure. There was a question that came in, or I guess it's a part comment, part question, and this comes in from Veronica Zeichner, and I hope I said that correctly. She asks, well, first she comments on the fact that there's a DEI and constraints that are currently imposed on community colleges with regards to procurement, et cetera. And what steps, are there any steps that the state will be taking to possibly amend those statutes that regulate that?
To be honest, I'm not really clear on her question when she says constraints at community colleges. I'm not sure what she means about that. I was recently on a panel with a number of chief diversity officers in higher education talking about a variety of different issues. So I do interface with higher education chief diversity officers as well as procurement officers. So I'm not clear on what she means in terms of constraints. I'm sorry.
Let me see if I can, Veronica, if you're on, I have unmuted you if you want to go ahead and clarify your question. And I don't know if she is unmuting herself.
I'm here.
There you go.
Hi there.
Hi.
Okay, I think that, hi, I have my director of purchasing on this as well. And I think he sent in the question, but I've been asking him to follow up on this. My understanding is at the state level, we as a community college cannot honor a contract unless it comes in as the lowest, most responsible bidder. And if Jeff Roberson, are you on? He's the procurement guru following the community college laws. So hold on a minute.
I think she may be asking if they have to go with the lowest bidder. That may prevent.
So to give some context to that, when you're talking about public contracting, as I indicated, we're talking about your dollars, your tax dollars that are being used to spend on goods and services. So therefore, there's a process in place to ensure the integrity of how those dollars are spent. So by way of example, for state contracting, anything over $40,000 has to be put out to public bid. And so that is to essentially, ward against, hey, I know Raphael, he's my guy. I've got this $1 million contract and I'm just giving it to Raphael. There's transparency because if the contract itself has a value of $40,000 or more, it needs to be publicly published, the opportunity. And there is an actual process that one has to go through in order to respond to that. There's a review committee, et cetera, and so forth. So that, goes to the transparency of the process. Part of the other integrity that's kind of built in there is that what was stated. There is a provision of going with the lowest bidder, but that's not for all contracts. But in general, the rationale behind that is, again, if I solicit, because we require at least you put in a solicitation to 3 bidders, again, for competition. And based upon the responses, you go back with the lowest bid that is able to perform or provide that which is requested. So again, that is for purposes of fairness, and that's also purposes of ensuring that the state is getting the best value for its dollar. However, that is not something that's blanketed that goes across all procurement contracts, because in instances, let's say, for example, for professional services, it's not always about the lowest price, but it's also about the person's professional expertise and what they're able to bring as it relates to a service contract, let's say, that may have a higher valuation. So there's no, while there is that caveat on some contracts that you have to go with the lowest responsible bidder, there are other contracts that don't necessarily have or provide for greater flexibility depending on what's being sourced. But even with the, and let's just take that, we're going with the lowest responsible bidder. Again, for the state, we're trying to get the best value for our dollar. So that's not something for you as a business owner that you should shy away of or be scared of, because the truth of the matter is that's the market that you're operating in outside of public contracting, but just in business as well. It is about pricing. It is about whether or not someone is going to be able to get the best value for their dollar. And so, again, because in public contracting, there is transparency. If the bid is awarded to someone and they are the low bidder, you'll be made aware of that. And that is something that can guide you for subsequent bid responses that you make on contracts. Understanding, as I said, it's not a one-shot deal. There are many, many opportunities for you to be able to respond to bids, because these departments and agencies utilize goods and services on a daily and annual basis.
Thank you so much, Hester. And you mentioned that the contract opportunities, if they're $40,000 or above from a public agency, have to be made public. Mm-hmm. Are the bids then that come into that, for that opportunity, are they also made public, or is that not something that's done? So
for those that are less than 40,000, is that what you're asking?
That's at the 40,000 or above. If I have 10 bids as the state agency, do I need to make the bids that come in public, or is that kept confidential?
So during the bids selection and review process, that process is confidential until such time as the bid is awarded. Okay. Generally, that's how that works.
Thank you. Excellent.
But I thought you were asking another question, and that raises another important point that I want to note to people, which again is why matchmaking opportunities and getting in front of the faces of the procurement professionals are important. Because as I indicated, 40,000 and above has to go out to public bidding. Under 40,000 is a matter of sourcing it out to at least 3 different vendors. And so that's going to be, who does that procurement professional know that provides those goods and services that I can solicit quotes from? So getting in the face of a procurement professional so that they know, let's say I'm looking to source out water. And they've met you at matchmaking and you presented yourself and you have provided your capability statement so that they know that you have the ability to be able to provide these goods or to provide the water as requested. That means that I, as a procurement person, I'm going to, solicit you for a quote. So the difference is, and why it's important to understand these procurement vehicles is that when you're talking about a DPA, well, now you're talking about your 1 in 3 versus 40,000 and over, you could be one of 50 or however many people respond to the public response, the bid response. Whereas for something that is of a lower amount, you're really, decreasing or increasing your capability because the sourcing number is lower. So it's important to understand these procurement vehicles, and it's important to understand who are the people, what are they sourcing for, and how you can make them aware that you're able to provide these goods or services.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Mhm.
Excellent. We are up on time, but I did just want to ask one more question. And you mentioned the systems that have been in place around procurement. I'm sure you've heard this before. One of the questions we get from a lot of businesses is they have this impression that the system is rigged. It's friends of friends who get these, even when there's transparency involved. What would you, how do you, when you get that, because I'm sure you possibly heard it, how do you counter that? What do you say to a business owner?
So what I would say to that is this: I have had the opportunity, because I think it's important for someone in my position to not just go out and speak about things, but to have a deep understanding, because I've actually been involved in this work. So I've actually been on bid selection review committees. I've actually helped, design what the solicitations will be, and particularly as it relates to the scoring. So I'll say that to say this: when we're talking about systems being designed for the outcomes that they have, one of the ways that we look at how we can level the playing field is in the valuation, right? So when we're scoring based upon certain things. It can be experience. It could be the background experience of doing the particular work, as well as what are the backgrounds or the resumes of the individuals in the company, and what do they bring to the table, and ensuring that they're going to be able to deliver the goods or the services in the manner in which they indicated. One of the things that we've also included under this administration is diversity and inclusion. What does that look like within your organization itself? Because we as the state value diversity and inclusion for all the reasons that I stated, right? So are you comprised within your organization? Is diversity a component of that? And as it relates to your external engagements, do you use diverse subcontractors as part of servicing these contracts? Because that's a valuation that we can consider as well. So I think that, when we're talking about the system is designed that we're just going to produce a certain outcome, that, I could honestly and sincerely say that's not the case. I think what it is positioning diverse businesses so that they can understand how to go through some of these hoops that are there so that they can be contenders. What we find are that they're not part of the field, as opposed to they're being selected out of the field in many of these procurement opportunities. And I think, that's really where the work and effort is. And that's why this is so important. So at the same time that we work on how can we kind of simplify some of those systems that are in place for procurement to make it easier, we also need to be able to at least onboard these businesses to understand how to navigate and to do, what is required in order to be able to not be excluded from the contract opportunities.
Excellent, thank you. And you've really set us up nicely for the rest of the day with your comments, and particularly that last comment. So thank you so very much. Thank you for taking time today. I know you are a busy person leading this new effort in this new office. So thank you so very much. We're so pleased to have had you. We're going to have you again. So we will.
It is absolutely my pleasure, and know that I'm busy, but the busy is this. So what this right here is what my work is all about. So this is not an extra. This is absolutely the sum and substance of the work of the Chief Diversity Officer. And I am more than happy to come back anytime that you believe I would be of benefit to the great work that you're doing at the Chamber.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hester. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
day.
Have a great afternoon, or I should say great day all.
Stay safe.
All right, take care.